Hey, check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast.
Enigma played a game, and this game was called
Uh,
Asaka or Aska or
Aska,
Aske or whatever.
Aska, something like that. Yeah,
I feel like
it's
we're upsetting a game developer.
Okay, no, it's pronounced it's Aska, and I don't is it Aska? Is it
Aska.
Aska?
I'm
Okay,
pretty sure it's
Aska.
Aska. I don't know for sure. It might be Aska. I'm not sure. I'm not from Denmark. I don't know if it has anything to do with it or not. But
Is that
it's
where the
a
game is
yeah.
from?
It's
Denmark?
I don't know. It's where it's at. Like it's a Norse game in general. So I don't know if that's anything to do with like Aska is some kind of like Norse mythology or Norse theme. I don't personally know about it. So
I thought
I don't
Norse
know.
was
But
Norway.
All I'm
it could
saying is
be.
this Valheim update looks wild.
Right.
Okay, talk about the game that you're.
So yeah, Aska, whatever it is, it's a. If you didn't know, there's a little bit of an event going on right now. We'll talk about it in here in a few. There's a bunch of demos going out right now for survival games, everything like that. Aska, I'm just gonna label it Aska. I'm sorry if I'm mislabeling it or if I'm saying the name wrong. Correct us in the comments. I don't know. Aska is a survival game in the same arc as like Valheim would be, right? It's set
So it's a
in a Norse
Valheim-esque.
mythology. But yeah, basically, yeah, yeah. If we can go down that route, it's got Souls like as well. You know, maybe it'll be a Souls like esque as well. You
It's a
never
Marvel
know.
Rivals
Or
esque.
The only
a
thing I'm seeing Souls like about it is the shitty camera angles.
what was the other one from the other day? Tarkov esque. Maybe it's a Tarkov esque. You
Yeah.
never know. But it's a survival game with a mix of colonies, like a colony sim, like a colony builder in it, which we haven't seen too terribly much
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
we've seen
cool.
it a little bit in the recent future with games like Sengoku Dynasty and like those other games that I think Medieval Dynasty is another one. But yeah, this is along those same lines where you're set in a world, you have to go in there, you build up a settlement. The further that you go inside of the progression of the game, you have to place down this Eye of Odin thing that like summons villagers to you. It like finds villagers on the island and summons them towards you, and then you can put those villagers to work doing things like gathering wood, gathering stone, everything like that. So it's a very it does remind me extremely a lot of Valheim. I haven't gotten too far into it, unfortunately. I played this a little bit before I started watching the Sony State of Play or whatever it is today. So I only got like 20 minutes worth of game time into it. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a decent little survival game from the little bit that I played then before the event, and then I played a little bit last night as well. It
What
seems
state
like
is it
it's
in right now? Is this alpha,
Gotta
right
be
beta,
early,
now.
gotta
or
be
This
early
early
is
access?
this is early access. Yeah, right
Okay.
now this is early access. I don't even know if it's in alpha right now just yet. It might be in alpha. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's early access. I think it releases into early access in the next couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I saw something about that in the
June
next couple of
20th,
weeks.
it'll
June 20th.
release.
There you go. So next, a couple
So
of
wait,
months
it's
actually.
in early access and it's releasing June 20th.
No, it's going into early access June 20th. Right
Oh,
now, it's being made available as a demo because of the event that's going on
okay,
right now on
okay.
Steam. So
Okay.
it is going into early access. It is definitely in early access. You can definitely tell. The quality of it, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily of a high enough quality to be like it's a it's Valheim quality, because Valheim, when it released in a very good state. Like and as far as like early access games go, Valheim's at the top of that list, right? Like they did an extremely good job, but this one's not too terrible. Like it really doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad. A lot of people are complaining that it's really grindy. From what I've seen, I mean, it's a survival game. It's supposed to be pretty grindy. I've heard a lot of people complaining that they feel like they're doing all the chores, but I've also seen a lot of people basically stating that you haven't gotten far enough in the game yet, if that's the case, because like once you get a couple of villagers, the villagers take over those roles of like gathering rock, gathering
That's cool.
stone, gathering trees. They kind of take over the menial tasks and kind of
Okay.
allow you to better build up your settlement and build up your city and everything like that. So
Oh,
I
that's dope.
it kind of also takes into like a little bit of consideration games like 7 Days to Die almost in some cases. There's these blood moon events that happen on occasion where you'll just get attacked by like I think when I had it happen, I had a blood moon of like these undead like I I can't remember what they were called, but they were like zombies essentially. And
Okay.
I got attacked by like 5 or 6 of them and had to kind of defend my little lean-to shack and my little my shitty fireplace from them destroying the start to my city. So it's I think it's got good bones. I really do.
Is it multiplayer?
What you're seeing right now, it is multiplayer. I think it's up to 3 players co-op.
Okay.
So it is multiplayer. It's not massive multiplayer, unfortunately. I think Valheim has a mod that you can have like upwards of like 60 people on a server at some point. So
You know what would be cool about this is that
yeah,
if they could have done like a more, and again maybe they can, right? It's early access, but if they were to do like PvP style, I mean, leave it to Sen to always want fucking
I was
just
about to
Right,
say,
yeah.
Leave it to me.
The ward needs to exist in every
of
world.
course.
I'm just saying, but no, but think about it. Like, it'd be kind of cool to have like your own survival thing, but like then like you could go and pillage another person's base that is being manned by their own like little army that they've built up and recruited. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be kind of cool.
I mean it could happen in the future. You never know. With it not being released and going into early access, it's very possible that maybe they will add some kind of like PvP-esque system into the actual game. I can see where you're coming from with that at least. But yeah, I think it's they want to focus more on the PvE. It's like that would be like adding PvE or PvP to Valheim. I don't see it working in general. But I do see what you're talking about where it comes to like being able to like build a city that's a defensible city from PvP and
Yeah.
allowing almost to an extent of oh fuck, what is that? Was that Conan Exiles, right?
Mhm.
Conan Exiles is kind of like that, where you
Yeah.
go out and you gather thralls and then you build your base and they kind of defend your base. That'd be kind of cool. I
Yeah.
could see that. I would enjoy that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, right now it's in very early stages. There's not a whole lot that I've like really gathered with it. From what I can tell, that's the general like gameplay loop is you create your city, you create your settlements, and you get attacked every once in a while by things. I don't know if they've developed past that. I haven't actually seen any of that. Again, like I said, I've only put in maybe I think 2 hours into this game right now, and it's a demo. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to put in a ton of hours into it just because I don't
It's a
know. I don't
demo.
know how.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's a demo.
progression's
I
not
don't
going to
know
carry over probably.
exactly. I don't know how much content there is in the game, but from the content that is in the game currently, it seems like it's good. It does seem like a good time. Um, I think I like the realism where like when you chop down a tree, the tree actually falls, and then you have to process that tree down into like other things. So like you chop the tree down, you have to then chop the tree that you chop down into smaller branches. You get bark from that, you get sticks from that, and then you can process that down even further into like firewood. I'm sure that later on down the road you'll have to process those things down into like planks and everything like that to make like larger buildings and everything like that. So it's yeah, I mean if you like Valheim, I think that it's probably going to be a good time. That's as far as I've gotten so far. Again, it's not. I didn't have all that much time. I just wanted to showcase it a little bit. I've got another one that I want to put a little bit more time into that we'll probably review next week. That looks really promising. This one looks really promising as well. I'm
Yeah, it
really
looks
hoping
cool.
that I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it'll give you the same freedom for sea travel that Valheim gives you because I haven't seen anything like that, but like I do know that there is a sea and there was a monster inside of that sea when I first entered into the game. So I'm
Mhm.
curious to see if there is sailing and how good that sailing is, right? Because
Is
like
that like
Valheim set the bar up here, right? Like their sailing is top notch in Valheim. So we'll
is
see.
that like a ping that you're sending out?
Yeah,
Like that big AoE around you?
that is one of the complaints that I have about this game. So that's it. That's a way that you can like find materials around you.
I was about to say
So
it just shrinks all the foliage
yeah,
around you.
that's
It's
the way
so
that you can.
awkward.
That's the way you can find materials, and that's one of the annoyances that I have with the game is like materials are very, very hard to find in all the foliage, like the rocks and everything like that. If they didn't add that, you would completely miss nine
I just
tenths of the
think it's
materials that
funny
are on
how
the
it's
ground.
implemented. Like
Yeah.
I want to know the lore implications on this golden light that comes out from you that
Yeah.
shrinks all the plants.
But it has a progression system in it. Like the more that you forage, like you'll just saw me level up. I think on creating a fire. Like there's a skill for fire tending, right? There's a skill for crafting, for construction, for foraging, everything like that. So it's I don't know, man. I'm looking
It's
forward
cool.
to seeing what it gives you, like what kind of progression loop it gives you, and how far into that progression loop it can take you. Because if they're going to go down the route of, again, Valheim, it's the closest thing that we can kind of compare it to. Valheim, those are big shoes. Like you've got a ton of bosses from Valheim. If that's what they're going to go down, is like going out to you in the world and taking out bosses. That's going to be a very interesting take, because what happens if your village gets attacked while you're out there, fighting a boss? Like it's going to be a very interesting.
Preston Garvey comes out and say that
Right.
It's got
a village needs help right now.
The developer is Sand Sailor Studio, and they have created Black the Fall boss in a game called Boss Guard.
Why is Black the Fall so familiar? I think I've heard of that.
I don't know. It came out in 2017.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's mostly positive. One of the games was mostly positive. The other one was mixed review. Both of them, though, this is a big step in the opposite direction
from what they're used to. Yeah, for sure. But
interesting.
I don't know, man.
It looks cool.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. It does look cool. It seems like it's going to be fun. I didn't have any issues. So far, the biggest complaint that I had is again the fact that you got to use that weird little circle of golden light to find shit. That's been my biggest complaint so far. Other than that, the game seems to run well. All the systems that they have implemented currently seem to work well with each other.
Yeah.
And nothing's broken. So I mean, that's about as good as we can get in 2024 these days.
Right.
Good deal. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to see more from the Pre-Patch Podcast, don't forget to check us out live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, or at anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast, or wherever podcasts are listened to. Hope to see you there. Much love.